everyone, it's me Carol from Practical Mystic, and I am sitting relaxing outside and enjoying this breezy beautiful day, and thought I would bring my phone out and do a quick video. I don't know how quick it's going to be. There's so many things going through my mind right now, but I thought that some of you out there may be interested in listening to some suggestions, some experiences that I've had as I have been a tarot reader, a practitioner, and teacher. And I thought I would share a few of those with you. You know, when I began my journey, I was blessed with having come from a family that was open to all of these mystical things, these sciences of astrology and the tarot, numerology, all of that. So I think I got like a little bit of a quick start. But what I would tell anyone when I was teaching the tarot is immediately you will find out that when you pick up a deck of cards, that there is so much in them other than the pictures on the cards, which are, of course, symbols. There is astrology, Kabbalah, numerology, and of course symbolism. Realizing that, you have a choice at that point to decide if you want to veer off and study those other sciences to help you better understand and interpret the cards. Now, if you decide that you're going to learn astrology, there's a huge benefit, because the second part of this learning, I realized how astrology is a beautiful window into personalities, gifts, traits, challenges, shadows in your client. So understanding astrology is also going to give you another path of personally understanding how to relate to your client, if they are a water sign, a fire sign, an earth sign, all of that. You change your own psyche so that you're talking their talk, you're relating to them. So that's an important point there. Numerology comes in the picture, I realized was helpful for me, because numerology teaches us that everyone has a crucial lesson to learn, a life path. It also lets you know what cycle they are in year to year. So when your client comes in, you can say, oh, you're in a 4 cycle for 1 year. You add that to the equation. Then, of course, there are other denominations of numerology if you're going to get into the name interpretation, which has a lot to do with the characteristic and psychology of that person through the vibration of their first, middle, and last name. Again, adding more ingredients to the mix of how you can better interpret the individual sitting in front of you. Getting away from that, let's go on to something else that I like to teach in my tarot classes. When you are reading for someone else, it's important that they are as relaxed as possible. And you'll have to kind of do some body language. An easy tell is when both hands are folded at the solar plexus. There's some fear that you're going to talk about or reveal something that they are concerned about, blocking, hesitant. You understand where I'm going with that. Another tell is that they look down a lot, not making a lot of eye contact. So when we see that there is trepidation, hesitation, they're uncomfortable, then what I suggest is that you do a little small talk. You ask questions like, is this your first tarot reading? How did you find out about me? Do you believe that what the cards revealed are true? Do you think it's fate? Do you think it's destiny? And get an idea of where their beliefs are. And also ask them if they have one question that I seem to ask people who were always referrals because they didn't initiate the reading was, do you believe that the tarot can help you or guide you in any way? And that answer is crucial into how that person will be open or closed or just there to placate or satisfy the person that suggested they get a tarot reading. So those are very important points. Let me point out something else as well that has happened to me. Often you will get a client who may feel that they need therapy, counseling, but can't afford it, don't want to go there for whatever reason, and come to you hoping that you have the answers. What is important as a tarot reader and for your own personal peace of mind, protection, and also your ethics, realize that they're coming to you in a state of crisis. And you don't want to mislead them, but you want to help them, and that them seeking tarot guidance may be more than one reading, more than one session, and that at this point in this introduction, you may want to get a little bit of information as to what is the immediate crisis, why they're there, and then going and opening up the cards and making it quite simple until they're not in a panic, stressful, fearful, anxious state of mind. Because the better your client is at relaxing, the more information the cards seem to reveal. Now that leads me to another chapter. As a tarot reader, I have realized that interpreting the cards since I began my tarot practice many, many years ago and where I am right now, I realized that the more that I knew myself, my filters, my distortions, my neurosis, my problems, the clearer I could be in interpreting the tarot cards for someone else. I think many of you have heard this axiom that it's of the Oracle of Delphi, is know thyself and you shall know everything. So the better psychologically you are, the better that you are centered, where you don't project and don't allow your client to project their needs onto them. Because there is a tendency to want to please, to help your client in that time. But you also have to be true and honest, which leads to another part, that there are some areas that you may not be qualified to handle, that it is out of our league, my league, and at that point, if it's anything having to do with possibly sexual abuse, drug addiction, alcoholism, that it's wonderful for you as a tarot reader to have helplines where they can get help, assistance, and that's about all you can do. You're not a certified therapist. You can guide them to seek help when it comes to things that are self-destructive. And I came down that path often as a tarot reader, and because I did, I decided to volunteer and become a rape crisis advocate for about 3 years in the county that I lived in, and was trained as a rape, um, when I say a rape advocate, if a woman was raped, I would meet her at the hospital. We would do a rape kit, and then if she wanted to go to court, if it was even legal enough to go to court, I would be there to represent she or he at the courthouse. And I did that for 3 years, and then became a little bit burnt out. And then that opens up another avenue of tarot reading. Yes, there is such a thing as burnout, friends. And there are signs. Now, did I experience burnout? I began experiencing those when I had other obligations that pulled me in different directions. I had a career. I had my tarot profession. I had my teaching profession. I had a business with my husband, and then I had some medical issues with my husband. So yes, I was ready to experience burnout, and that's when I decided to let some things go. Now, for those of you out there that are wondering what is burnout for a tarot reader, it's when you have gone professionally and you have a lot of clients, and of course you have a regular other life, whatever that may be. You may have another job that your profession isn't able to finance you enough. And of course you have children and obligations as a home, as a father or as a mother. What begins to happen is you start juggling to the point that the juggling now becomes front and center, where the first thing you do in the morning is not look forward to your schedule. You look to see, okay, I've got this person coming in at 9 o'clock. I've got to pick up the kids at 3:30. I have a meeting, and you get the picture. And you are not at your best at any of those. You may be anxious, you may be tired. Sleeping patterns become changed, where you go to bed with some of your problems. You're not able to concentrate. When you're doing a reading, you may not be 100% there with your client, or when you're with your children, you may not be able to give them everything that they need. So that is the beginning of burnout. And there are signs, and usually it's when what you're doing, any of these, become not joyful anymore. Not to say that there had been times when my schedule was overloaded, but when it went back to where I said, okay, it's downtime, I'm relaxing, and I'm looking forward to getting in the kitchen, preparing dinner, and listening to the kids talk about their day of school, then you know you have balanced it out. But when day after day and it's not balanced out, those are yellow flags about burnout. The other thing that I learned that was very important is and a lot of you are going to laugh at this one because it's going to age me, but I used to record every session that I had with a client on a cassette tape recorder. Now you can record it on your iPhone. So why do that? Number one, some sessions are an hour, some of them are a little bit more than that. And there is no way your client is going to remember everything that you talked, conversed, predicted, brought up, questions, reflected upon, etc. That's going to help them. The other denominator about that is I have noticed that when you get into sections of a reading that was not expected or was expected, and they're not completely open to the reality of what has just been revealed, then they tend to close down, don't listen, start thinking of ways to respond, and a lot of the information is lost in that process between you and your client. When it is recorded, I always tell the client, do not listen to the recording until a full 24 hours has passed. And then if you want to listen because you're trying to reflect or remember, absolutely play it back. But give yourself 24 hours to digest the information. The other thing this stops from some clients doing is they'll call you and say, what did you say about that Seven of Swords? I remember the Seven Swords. I remember seeing the picture. What was the interpretation of that? Now, the gift of the tarot, the gift of the spirit is you remember not. I do not recall what I said to that client. I find that as a gift. And it's good that I don't remember because I probably would not have any hair left on my head with all the stories that I've heard and encountered and worried about and would be anxious about. So recording it stops them from giving you a call, asking you to remember or reiterate what was said. And I will tell you that some clients say that the information that was on that tape did not happen in the 6 month or 1 year time period. Sometimes it happened a year and a half after, and they had the aha moment and then went back, listened to the tape, and said, oh my gosh, now why is that? That brings up another important point. That's because the client has free will to act and react to the information that is being given. A reading is a stamp, a picture in what is happening with the consciousness of the client at that day and the consciousness of everyone else in that story of that spread. What they do with that information and how it transpires is an individual process, so that my client at that point made choices, the people around them, and that it came to fruition a little later, if it was going to come to fruition at all, because a lot of times the outcome is left in their hands. Now, some things seem to be fate. I am a true believer of that. I have seen that in my own readings. But other things are left up to your choices, your destiny, your reaction, your free will. So all of that is very, very important to consider as a tarot reader. Trying to think about other things that are important that I've learned. Yes, I've also learned that I have read more efficiently and clearer for people I had no prior knowledge on. Now, what does that mean? Because yes, I do the homework. I do look at their zodiac signs, and if I don't do a full chart, I will just look at all the planets from an ephemera. I will also do their year to see what cycle they're in. But what I'm saying here, friends, is that once a client comes back, and that's another thing you're going to have to decide. I did not do readings for anyone more than twice a year. That is, I don't let them come back every week. They come back every 6 months if they choose to. And there is a reason for that. There is something called, well, there's two things. Let's talk about contracts. Let's talk about Carolyn Mays right now. We form contracts when we come back each lifetime, and they're usually the nucleus of our family. And, you know, we form good karma and bad karma, and we come back with the same people to work that out. As a professional tarot reader, you have clients that are drawn to you specifically. You form contracts with them. You're responsible for what you share. In fact, you're responsible for all the advice you give. There is a karmic tag to that, and you want to establish a relationship where it is not one where your client now depends on you to guide them through life. You are not their therapist, and you do not want them to become codependent. That would be a negative contract. You want them to be able to come with you openly, and you want them to know that you're going to tell them the truth and not placate anything and not try to please them so that they leave feeling better. That is not servicing them in the least bit. So there is that back and forth relationship that you want to make sure is honest, is ethical, is not dependent. And the less you know about their personal life, the better it is to really interpret the cards without projection or your own empathy and kindness to try to soften the blow, if you will. Now, with that, of course, what I've learned is the importance of the use of words, communicating words. My facial expression is very important. If I see many detriment cards, I am not going to go, oh boy, you're in for a sweet time here. I'm glad you came in because I'm going to. No, 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 no. That is going to scare your clients. You really have to have a poker face, and you have to look at them unattached, but with kindness and empathy and even compassion. And if they begin to show emotion, you stop what you're doing, of course, and I'm sure many of you out there would do the same thing. And you ask if they would like a drink of water. You ask them if they would like to stop the recording. And you relax them, and you wait until they're ready again to perceive, or maybe at this time they just want to end the session. So there's a learning curve in understanding the importance of your own reaction, facial expression. You don't want to show signs of concern, but you do want to show that you are listening, that you understand, and that you're looking for ways to guide them. I think I'm going to end it there. I think this short video became a very long video. And I thank everyone if you listened in and joined me today. Please let me know if you have any questions, and share your comments if you are a professional reader out there with me. If you choose to, tell me maybe some of the things that you feel were important that you learned that I haven't shared here today. I'm sure this could be a long discussion for all of us. I want to thank everyone and wish you a beautiful, pleasant day. And I'll be back soon, everyone. Bye for now.